And living connected with nature, I think from what I know, you grew up in a Western capitalist culture. So how did your own journey of connecting with nature, as you said, real nature? It's so interesting, right? Nature itself, I mean, it should be real, but yeah, in today's world, we even need to emphasize it's, by the way, that real type of nature. Not, I know, these trees, like the plastic trees. But yeah, when did you set on that journey? What did you set? What set you on that journey? And yeah, you mentioned the Amazon. I guess that was very connected. But how did you find these islands of real nature connection?
Yeah, thank you for that question. Actually, I think it's the first time someone's asked me it in this way. Yeah.
I celebrate first time.
Yes, so thank you. I will first say that nature, this concept of us separating, having a word for nature. I mean, so many indigenous languages don't even have that separation.
It's just what is.
It's just what is. Right? So the fact that we have to say nature means that we're separate from it, when in fact we are it. And nature is us and we are nature.
Yeah, because we say we love going into nature, right? That's
as if we're not already embodying it as a being.
Very true.
And in connection with it always, even if we're in a concrete building, you know. But
we
again,
bring the nature to it, basically. Yeah,
exactly. And it's hard for us to connect with that. But let's say to answer directly, the first time I really entered in that space of real communion and connection to nature in a very intentional way, it actually took quite a long time in my life to get to that point. I've always been very connected to going to the beach in the summers as a kid, and I'm half Brazilian, so I just spent my whole life at the beach, basically. I started hiking a bit later on, and I even did a very long backpacking trip around South America in my mid-20s. I spent 8 months traveling from Argentina all the way up to Ecuador, largely overland, traveling up the entire continent, save for Brazil. So I was really on the western side of the continent. And then that was me in connection with nature all the time. My only shoes were my hiking boots. And I was hiking either in the Andes and just traveling up the continent. That was the first time I'd ever done something like this before. Though I was with very much the natural world and the mountains, I would say the first time I truly felt this sense of how I am part of this and how healing it can be for all of us is when I actually went to the Brazilian side of the Amazon. Not for the very first time, because I was very young. The first time I went to Manaus. I think it was about 12 or 13. And that was just a trip with my mother. But the first time I went on my own as an adult, as someone who is already becoming more immersed into this world of altered states and how we can make meaning from it, was when I took this trip a couple of years ago, actually, only 3 years ago, when I really went to the Amazon. It was actually for a conference between many indigenous communities that had come together from representing, from Brazil, from Ecuador, Peru, Colombia, and also from outside of the South American continent. And there I was really in the heart of the jungle, the heart of the Amazon, very far away to get there, multiple flights, small plane, little boats, the whole thing. And I looked straight at this big samauma tree, this big, it's, the master of the forest. And I just said, okay, I think I'm starting to finally understand why this is so important, why I'm here, what I'm here to do.
So a peak moment.
It was, very much. It was a deep moment of understanding, to be in relationship with the natural world in a reciprocal way, in a way where I am giving and receiving all at once. Just by being in the presence of this extraordinary tree was a gift to me, and I understood what I needed to do just naturally. And that's when I started to really be in connection develop a stronger relationship with what's around me. And of course, I was there in supporting many different indigenous groups, and I was learning from them just by the way they talk about their experience, by the way they, watching them and how they have small rituals, small ceremonies to start the day, to start a dialogue, to end the day, how to greet the day, right? And it's always in connection with nature, with the trees, with the forest, with the birds, with the human and non-human life that exists in the forest, and how each of these pieces are intricately connected. They each have a role and a function. It's an ecosystem, right? So a lot of life comes from that. And so that was the first time I got a sense of really feeling and knowing what it was that I was learning and understanding intellectually before. And we can all learn through this, and we can all read books, and we can all sort of hear stories from other people, but to actually feel it truly was a very big gift that I felt that I received, and that now I want to try and weave in and integrate for myself and for others too.
Thank you for sharing that and for taking us there.